Yo, what up folks, MTG here, and Training Grounds is the name of the game today. This is a Simic list. So, Training Grounds is a 1-mana blue enchantment that we got in Aftermath. Activate abilities of creatures you control cost 2 less to activate. This effect doesn't reduce mana in the cost to less than 1 mana. It reduces activated abilities by 2. We're also playing Biomancer's Familiar. Activate abilities of creature you control cost 2 less to activate. Again, no less than 1 mana. And this also has the ability to trigger adapt things. Now, there's a bunch of things that you could theoretically do with Training Grounds. The one thing that's very, very notable that we're not doing, you'll notice the absence of white mana, is Eldrazi Displacer. Which is a shame. Eldrazi Displacer is just one of my favourite cards in Magic. It's a card that brought me a lot of success back when it was in Standards. But we're missing any of the Eldrazi creatures that create Scion tokens. Notably both Eldrazi Skyspawner and Drowner of Hope. Now, Drowner of Hope and Eldrazi Displacer with the Training Grounds effect, although that Biomancer is familiar, you'd be able to just go infinite. Each time you're flickering the Drowner of Hope, you're getting 2 Eldrazi Scion tokens, and it only costs 1 of them to flicker it. With the Sky Spawner, it's 3 mana, so it also comes into play with Collector Company. You can sacrifice 1 to flicker it, and it makes 1. So you go like, okay, you get infinite like sacrifices. So if you have like a Zulaport Cutthroat type effect in play, you just win the game on the spot. Both things very, very powerful, but unfortunately not on Arena right now. Wizards, please. So, we've got a bit of a different route. We've taken this Simic shell, we've got Training Grounds, we've got Biomancer's Familiar, and then we're adding to that a bit. We've got Kinnan Bonder Prodigy. Blue-green for a 2/2. When you tap a non-land permanent for mana, add 1 mana of that type. And then 5 blue-green, look at the top 5 cards of your library, then put a non-human creature card from among them onto the battlefield. And this, of course, is a really powerful activated ability that we can take advantage of. And then also it gives us access to a lot of mana, because we're also playing a bunch of mana creatures. So we have our 1-mana elves, Elvish Mystic and Llanowar elves, and then kind of playing into the adapt stuff with Biomancer's Familiar, we have Growth Chamber Guardian and Incubation Druid. Incubation Druid, obviously, has that 3 green adapt 3 ability, taps for a mana of any land you control could produce, and then if it's got a counter on it, adds 3 mana instead. So it adds a ton of mana. We then have Growth Chamber Guardian, which is a threat that finds more copies of itself. 1 and a green for a 2/2. Adapt 2 for 2 and a green, but obviously this goes down to green. Whenever 1 or more counters are put on it, you may search your library for a card named Growth Chamber Guardian, put it into your hand. So you play it for 2, adapt it for 1, it comes to the 4/4, then goes find another copy of itself. The most powerful thing we can do in this deck, along with activating Kinnan Bonder Prodigy's ability, is Duskwatch Recruiter. Another one of my favourite cards that I played a bunch with Eldrazi Displacer actually, but 1 and a green for a 2/2. 2 and a green, look at the top 3 cards of your library, you may reveal a creature card from among them, put it into your hand, and then the rest go on the bottom. And this ability, with either Training Grounds or Biomancer's Familiar, becomes green. It's just green, look at the top 3 cards, reveal the creature card at instant speed, and then it also has this other upside, like if you manage to flip it, then your creature spells cost 1 less to cast. Obviously you're going to be casting a bunch of creature spells, so you can find them all. So at the time, if you untap with it, you're going to flip it back over straight away, but hey, has some additional upside there too. We've got a bunch of mana, we can go find a bunch of creatures, and then the last thing we have to do is end the game. So Kinnan also obviously is going to spam out a bunch of creatures with that ability, but we have Collector Company holding everything together, and then Defiler of Vigor, which is where the power comes in. So 3 green for a 6/6 with Trample, additional cost to cast a green permanent, you can pay 2 life instead of a green. Whenever you cast a green permanent spell, put a +1 counter on each creature you control. And that's what we're doing here. We're going to find a bunch of green creatures with Duskwatch Recruiter. We're going to use Defiler of Vigor to just power up our board, make it huge, and then kind of kill our opponent that way. It is really, really sick. Defiler lets you go over the top of things like fires, over the top of things like Mono Green, where normally you can get stalled out, and just like not be able to get through their like large boards after they've gone off. Here, we don't have that problem. We can just cast a bunch of creatures and just obliterate them. The Training Grounds Biomancer's Familiar kind of engine here that we're using gets a lot better when we get the rest of the cards. Again, those Battle of Zendikar cards that I mentioned, but there are also a bunch of other things that let you mess around with Training Grounds. A bunch of combo potential. Let's look at the mana base. 4 Breeding Pool, 4 Sanctum, 4 Pathway, 3 Avamaya Coast, a lair, a hall, so we are actually hitting these number of lands, and then like a forest. The utility lands here as well, Otawara and Messagi. I'll show the sideboard and then we'll hop into some ranked games. If you're not already, please do subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it. 3 7 chooses, obviously, Greasefang. The nice thing here is that creatures that we put in the sideboard, you can find really, really easy with Duskwatch Recruiter if we're doing our thing. So 3 scavenging use, 2 Brazen Borer, gives us some extra interaction as well. Obviously that Patty Theft ability, bouncing on permanents. Mystic's a really nice one, lets you board it into a counter spell that you can kind of play on your opponent's turn. We have access to a lot of mana. We have Collector Company to do things at instant speed anyway, along with our activates of other abilities. You can just hold up this Duskwatch Recruiter's ability too. And so Field Mystic's a nice one. Shaper Sanctuary, hey, this is the mid-range control package. You have 2 copies of Shaper Sanctuary and 3 copies of Vivian Monsters Advocate. Shaper Sanctuary, when your opponent targets your creatures, you get to draw cards. Vivian gives you an army in a can, lets you cast spells off the top of your library, is amazing. And then we've got 3 copies of Mystical Dispute to kind of round us out. Blue versus blue decks. Excellent, excellent. Let's hop into some ranked games. Into our first match here with the deck. I had not seen that profile picture before. Neat. I don't really keep up with all the cosmetic upgrades. Tons of lands here, a bit more than we'd like. You have a Dust Watcher create an incubation druid, but no real way to make these abilities any cheaper. I'm just going to shift this, bring it a bit of a faster start. So this is a 1-land hand, but it's a if our elves stick, it's a pretty powerful 1-land hand. I'm going to wonder to. Honestly, I think we just bottom the company here. Hope we hit a second land. We have a reasonable side out of the gate. Anyway, we'll see. You just pray our opponent isn't on a fatal push deck. So we hit the land. Means we can go ahead and we'll make the incubation druid. We'll make the land or elf, and should be looking to drop this Defiler and immediately start kind of going off. Let's see what they're actually on. This isn't a snow-covered land, so I don't think this is one of these spirits. Could be something like Flash. That's a Memory Deluge. Could still be Flash. Okay. Blue-black rogues, blue-black control. There have been a couple of blue-black control lists that have done pretty well recently, to be fair. I'm trying to think how I want to play this. We can just slam this. If we slam this, they have to deal with that. Whereas, to be fair, I think let's cast Training Grounds. See what they want to do. The Training Grounds means we can try and level this incubation druid, but we're trying to play here so we don't get blown out by either a counter spell or a removal spell. If we commit sudden our turn of committing to one thing, that's not great. What the Growth Chamber Guardian lets us do is to play a few things out. See where we go from there. So now we have to make some choices. Obviously, Training Grounds reduces down to 1 mana. We'll be able to then go fetch another one, so we're at least getting some more stuff in our hand. So even if they remove something, like if we went like 5 mana. Oh, interesting. Well, we maybe did have more time than I thought, but that is okay. Let's just go green. We'll just activate this now so we don't get blown out by it. The thing with adaptability is that if your opponent kills this in response, you don't get to obviously search. We'll just go ahead and do this. And we'll come in for 1 with the elf. Alright. Interesting them playing this way around as well. I have to think about that a bit. Thoughts he probably takes the Defiler. But cutting off the Growth Chamber Guardian is reasonable. Okay, sure. So they think they have a good answer for this. I would like them to not, though. I think we have to just cast it. We had to beat down even without a counter spell. Maybe we're playing towards like an extinction event here, but it's kind of hard to play around. Sensor is tough. We get to come in for 4. You still have some upper mobility. Would love to draw a Duskless Recruiter, obviously. Probably the best card in this matchup. You just draw a bunch of creatures. This is also fine. Reset this down to just green. How do I make the bubbling noise go away? What has happened? We'll try and adapt this, because then they're not killing the Growth Chamber Guardian. Sure. That goes through, we'll attack both of these. Even. I'm gonna sacrifice the Familiar, just so we keep 4 lands around in the case that they do have Extinction Event. Or just in case we keep some mana sources around. And let's keep it up, that is fair enough. So, sideboard, fairly straightforward. These Mystical Disputes I'm not actually sure on. We absolutely want these and these. The Frill Mystics, hey, they're playing Draw Go. Or this is more for like tap out decks, flyers, mono green, that kind of thing. And then maybe I want these disputes. Think about what we actually want to cut. What's weak here? So these cards are expensive. The Vivians are worth it. These are here to really push and go over the top of decks like green and fires. You just make a huge, massive army that they can't come back against. We don't really care about that here. We just want to stick some creatures and kill our opponent. And so the Mystical Disputes become a bit more valuable. I'm going to cut one of these. I'm just going to trim some numbers here. interesting things. The training grounds are better than the Biomancer Familiar because they're not vulnerable to creature removal. The Blue Bat doesn't have great ways to shift enchantments, and so that's why the training grounds and the Shaper Sanctuary are really, really good. A trim here as well. We've got 2 more cards. Recruiter is obviously incredible. Incubation Druid is maybe the worst of these. I think I want to do this. Just because the Incubation Druid is 5 mana to adapt, and you just get blown out by him as well so easily. Alright, let's send it back up. That'll be on the play for game 2. This is solid. This has the 2-card combo that we want. Are a little weak to Thoughtseize. But without it, I think we're still just likely to play the Alpha out first. Let's do this. Okay, I'm going to Favor Push. That's fine. Let's get the Training Grounds down and play. It does switch Recruiter if we play it without mana to activate it. It's a bit silly. It is cool because if you do have the backside activated, you get to reduce. No. We hold the dispute. We hold the dispute. Really, you want to hold on to the Swatch Recruiter as long as possible, so if we draw another creature to play, we'll play that instead. We do want to not get it Thoughtseize. Second dispute is interesting. We didn't draw another creature. I kind of want to save this another turn, honestly. I don't think we can afford to get in that much time. I'm going to play it out. The actual bait thing is that if they have a counter spell they want to use here, and then they counter it, and then we try and dispute. This is kind of okay. Expected to have some form of interaction. Yeah, sure. Another Fatal Push. We at least get to search for itself, so it replaces itself. 2 for 1. You don't count the Training Grounds. Lana Elf, not necessarily looking for, but that's fine. That's fine. Okay. All go. I'll match the Hall and make an elf. Probably want to interact if they've got like 4 mana, like if they have Deluge, something like that. The 10 Jonas is obviously you don't want to try and Mystical Dispute, but if they have like 4 mana things that are good. Jeez, this is rough. I'm gonna attack with this. I guess Shot Typhoon. Yeah, I shouldn't. Just avoid doing that. Now they have 6 mana. I wonder if they have any like powerful like over the top threats. I'll play this out. I'm still gonna pass down here. They could have like Gear Hulk to draw cards. Like there are a few different yeah, there you go. Blue black variations. Some with Gear Hulk, some without. With Kalatas. Or a bunch. Or a bunch. If you're interested in blue black, because I do have a couple of videos on different blue black variants on the channel from a while ago. They haven't changed all that much, honestly. There are some new cards. But there are a few different Pioneer variants that did well in recent challenges. So definitely take a look at that. And if you do want to see that, then can make a video. Let me know in the comments. I'm going to carry on not attacking the Lana Ralph. Now they can just activate Hall. But we've gone land. Also at a point where this Mystical Dispute is becoming less and less relevant. It's a bit tough. I'll play the Familiar out. At this point they've had enough draw steps, so I would not be surprised if one of the cards they have in hand is a Wrath. Still going to play the creatures I draw. I'm not going to make this attack, still. Yeah. One nice thing about Altar Warrior is that we can use it to... Oh, okay. This isn't getting any better, is it? I think I fire it off here and I'll let's get a decent attack in if they pay. Yeah. Can even bounce it? I don't think so. If they have a fatal push, they have to be protected a bit. They're real just got to speed. We're creating an opening here to get like an attack in with the Hall of Sun Giants. Or if we draw into something good, like here. Let's make these attacks, see what happens. If we draw out a fatal push. There's no real point pushing one of the creatures to keep the Nissa alive on. Well, I guess if they have an answer to that. Okay, this went fine. I know they have a dispute. You know, they have an Osawara. I think I do this now because we can hit a Duskwatch Recruiter. And Duskwatch obviously just draws us a pot. Jeez. Well, we did board in a bunch of instances of sorceries, didn't we? You boarded in Vivian, you boarded in Shapers. We should probably have trimmed a company. Maybe. Try and keep our numbers down. Our creature numbers at an all-time low. I'll try and save the familiar. Yeah, unfortunately these only do creature active abilities, so it doesn't actually work on the Hall, for example. I'll recast this. Play an Elvish Mystic. Okay. Where's the trouble? They have 3 mana here. So they're not going to lose this turn. Well, they're into a pretty good position. I'm going to make this attack here to try and draw stuff out. Then we can clear the way to Duskwatch Recruiter. That's the idea here. We'll see if it actually works out. Damn. Sorry, I mute myself a cough for a second there. Why I didn't talk for a few seconds. This is going to connect. Gotta try. I'm wondering what hard counter spells they're playing. Yeah, they do have Sabotage. Alright. That is fair enough. They really managed to pull ahead a bit. We have 2 recruiters left. I don't think we know anything on the bottom of our library. So this is what we put on the bottom with the collected company. Do I want to offer a trade of halls? Not really. At least not at the moment. Next time we draw like a relevant spell to cast, I will probably try and exchange the halls. That'll at least draw some more removal out, maybe. Yeah, this deluge should seal everything pretty much. Full Sage. Alright. Probably heading to game 3. I get 2 cards. I'll play a little bit longer. Alright. That's a field of ruin. That's unfortunate. My turn. Reading pool. I'm just going to take us a game 3. Let's save everybody some time. There's like a very, very small chance we get through the 7 cards they have, but it's not very high. Okay, so what have we done? We've won a bunch of cards that make the company's bad. The company's actually worse than Industrial Creature on the whole. The card advantage engine. Is this worth doing? Because if we had 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Misses plus the companies. Yeah, it means we're really down to like 1 in 3 cards. So like going even on whether we hit a company or not. Maybe we do bother throw Mystics in. I like this. Generally with company I like to be playing at least like have like at least 26 hits. Ideally more than that if you can, but okay. We'll play. This is pretty solid. Getting in without one of the elves is a little sad, but hey, they've mulliganed down to 6. Go ahead and get the training grounds down when they can't interact with it. Nice. Makes sense to follow up with the familiar. What if I just thought he's here? No. Haunt, familiar. I wonder if they push this. The reason having both of these in play is nice. We want to hold Kinnan is that this Kinnan ability goes down to 3 mana with these. Okay, they have the fatal push. That's, you know, to be somewhat expected. It's a little awkward. If we play this here and resolve it, next we're going green blue, green blue, green green. So we can't actually make it. I think we need to make Kinnan now. You need to bear in mind the fact that we did play again. We did see Masker last turn. That's fine. We can still make the Defiler this turn. I wonder if they like to tap out of an Narset. They're gonna Siphon Insight. Ooh, okay. Siphon Insight's a fun one. Ah. So we hit here, but we have a dispute. They just need a land. I'm trying to think what's like the best card they can have for us. Maybe dispute actually, but okay, they're gonna double cycle in. Okay, we hit land. Isn't as bad as you think it is. We can cast it. We can just attack for 7 and hold up dispute, and then we're threatening lethal with the man land activation in theory. We draw land. Just gonna counter the spell. We got the noise. See you in the next game. Alright, in here with the second match. So a very, very solid start. We've got Altruistic, we've got Training Grounds, and we've got a Great Guardian to be going off with. Ooh, back quest into Thoughtseize. What am I going to take? They're going to ignore the Training Grounds, they're going to just like snap take it away. They know what's going on here. Do they understand? The question. So if they take the Training Grounds, we still have turn 1 Elvish Mystic into turn 2 Kinnan and Great Guardian. Which is actually pretty busted still. We'll see if they don't answer for the Mystic though. They can just have a Blowing Crusher Giant. But if they don't have interaction, then we can kind of start popping off. Alright, it looks like we're just going to get stomped. That's okay. I think this will only be 2 matches. I've done a number on my back. I've actually... well. Leon... okay, Leon is already going to answer. Now I feel a bit scared. Yeah, I'm not doing so well. So sorry if there is like any moments like heavy breathing or They know about Kinnan, not about the familiar. I think this is fine. My priority really is getting this Defiler out, and this is the easiest way to do this. There are 4 cards left here. Shockland means maybe Sheldred? That'd be alright. Yeah, never mind. Fatal push into Fable. They're just gonna make the Blowing Crusher Giant. Yeah. If we hit a land for the Defiler, we're in a decent spot. Obviously, we can have some removal. Still. Oh, my client's crashed. Oh, it's so annoying. They should take update the Defiler though. Maybe I should just hold this in hand. I don't know. That's pretty tough. Didn't have a ton of time thinking about it too bad, but hey, still not great. I imagine it's going to make this go. What do they lose? A Blood Harvester. Okay. You have some decent draws still. Still have some life to play with. Only on a 3 is going to be hard. This is still uncastable. I'm just going to skip this up. You can just go to game 2. Alright, well that was not fun. Let's So versus black red, we want these 2, and we want these 3, and then we want to cut some stuff. I like cutting a kin in these matchups because it's legendary. Can be a little bit clunky. Similarly, the Biomancer familiars. The Training Grounds, obviously, black red has no way to interact with other than Thoughtseize. But here, just being a little bit safer. And then to bring in some more non-permanents, I think cutting a couple of companies is reasonable. I'm going to trim the other Biomancer familiar as well. We'll keep things like this. At least this time we're not also bringing in disputes, so still okay about it. Leaving some copies in the deck. Because we're still at about 24, 26. Somewhere around there. We'll play. Missed the time on Elf, but hey. Ordered a cannon out, but drew 2, which is fine because one of them's going to die. That's going to be the first thing I run out. Aim here really is to set up Duskless Recruiter with Biomancer's Familiar or Training Grounds. They did mulligan to 6. The Horned Ridge. I want to play this out just to soak up a removal spell already. So I'd like the Biomancer's Familiar and the Duskless Recruiter to both stay around. Land. You drop both out? Maybe I should make the attack. I'll play this and then we can look to go Duskwatch with 2 activations up next turn. They don't immediately kill it. Okay, so it's a Trespasser. That'll eat the Kinnan. And then now, ooh, we did draw. Guess we can Elvish Mystic and one Prodigy later. So I play this though. I feel like if they didn't remove the Biomancer's Familiar straight away, this is okay. Then we got the extra mana to play with the Kinnan here as well. If given the opportunity, I would just slam it in onto the board. Okay, well this looks pretty solid. This isn't a draw card, but I'm going to do this now because I'm not getting this on the turn. Grab a Guardian. Now I want to find a Defiler. If they attack here, I don't really want to block. Yeah. And then we have to play through a couple of turns of Sheoldred. Let's draw. Company also pretty good. Jeez. Blue-green turns, this is a 4 mana. Maybe we wait a turn on there. Move a Coco. Yeah, go on. This currently costs 5 to activate. We can also just fire off a bunch of Duskwatch Recruiter actions to try and look for a Defiler. It's also not a bad plan. Plan number 5. We need to be careful allies up with Sheoldred. I'm just going to cast this. He's okay. Well, that's not great. You can kind of I feel pretty good at checking one of these under the bus. I don't know if I want to double block anything. The Kins get out of some mana. 7 but it's down to 4. I think I want an extra Sheoldred activation, so I'm going to block here. So we're on 8. Well, I could also get Kinnan, but that's still not the worst for us. Sure. Ah, they can eat that. Okay. Remember, we've got a limited amount of mana too. Not what we wanted. Along the line here, we just make Vivian. I think we can take one look first. Don't see it. That's tough.
A world of monsters. This is my paradise. I call, and Ikoria answers.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't. I should probably just made the Vivian. Get the Vivian a little while ago. Remember that we're not really coming into big creatures, so it's probably more worth it just fire off a bunch of dispatch recruiter searches. Yeah, we did put one on the bottom as well. That's results based looking at it, but yeah. Trying to spot. There's a push. Okay. There are enough creatures lying around. No, there's one. We're dead to the children. What's that? Alright, well, Black Bear was a bit tough. You can match him with all the sideboard cards. We just got a little. Which is how that game played out. Alright, let's hop into the match. Here we go. Alright, third match, bit of an unfortunate loss to Rakdos. Get to be on the play here with a pretty solid hand. Oh, I should also say, there was another version of the deck I was looking at playing Cryptolith right and not playing Company at all. But there's a lot of good options. You can play like Prosperous Innkeeper, so you've got some extra life gain in there as well. You're not using these. Then the Innkeeper makes treasure and then also taps with right. Nice. But most of your creatures tap for mana anyway. So. Okay. The elves are too good. Probably taking a little while. Was looking at licensing some music to use, like for the games. Let me know how you feel about that, and also kind of what music you'd like. If you're still watching at this point, you're the people I'm really kind of trying to cater to. So, thank you so much. But also, yeah, let me know. Is this fine? Is the arena music annoying or good? Let's maybe not we go here. Set up to make a turn 3 Defiler. If we hit a land, we can Defiler, get a trigger on it as well. The nice thing about Defiler with the adapt creatures is that it triggers them. Awesome, I don't think I mentioned that in the attack, but if you Defiler, cast a spell, and you've got an Incubation in play, then you can trigger the adapt. Well, put a counter on it to make it tap 3 mana. Doesn't trigger the adapt. That stops that. So we will go with that as our plan. Alright, we don't see much for our opponent. Yeah, we'll pay some life to cast through the Defiler. You see, it counters all our creatures, and this kind of like puts us over the top. It itself is trample as well. It pushes 3 blockers and things. Doesn't give everything else it, but obviously stacks a ton of counters. Which, yeah, we're all about. Seeker. So then, okay, so this is the other half of it. I got green here. Then we're gonna... Well, we don't actually have any reduction of cost in play, but to be honest, I think we'll be alright. Green, we're just gonna activate here. If you had any other green spell, you could trigger this with another green creature, but yeah. Yeah. And then, yeah, as you see, this keeps triggering. We're paying a pile of life, but it's worthwhile. Yeah, they're gonna scoop it up. We didn't really see much. I maybe want these Brazen Borrowers in. Just some interaction with all impermanence. That's probably it for now. I presume this is just kind of like red green mid range, that's red green vehicles, like the boat stack. Do I want to do this? I think so. I do the typical things I do, trim one each of these. We've not really activated killing yet, to be fair. And it is like more expensive, but it also enabling all your mana guides as well is super great. Okay. Double Craning Grounds. And we keep this. It's a nice start. We want to not get our... another situation where we don't want to get a Duskwatch Recruiter stomped. Now they're going to be like, huh? They didn't see the Biomass Familiar or the Training Grounds last game. To be fair. We have both. Okay, we want to play this Defiler as fast as possible. But I want to take infinite damage in the process. I think for now we just make the Broken Guardian. Then this goes into a 4/4. And we can tell this is a 4/4 and then make a second one. Let's see. Where? I have a Stomp here, that's fair enough. Gonna take some damage. Company? I want to find a land more than anything. So, I think we do this. We can fire off in a Social Security search. What else they have? Ideally, company like catches back up a little bit. Yeah, they're gonna stomp here. Activation. Which hopefully resolves. Check we've not crashed again. Okay, no. Not yet. I'm thinking about it. So what have they got here? Beseiji? They might have a Beseiji. That's what they're representing us. They're playing full control for fun. I'm trying to get the habit of doing more, honestly. Excuse me. I realized I was getting pretty low. Didn't draw land. They've not added more pressure because they've been dealing with the creatures, which is fair enough. I will... There is the boat. Okay. Basically had to let us hit this before. We have no way to stop this, I don't think. Yeah, we have company, but I don't think we have anything that hits that saves us from this. I'll pass, because maybe they don't activate the Sky Sovereign. What am I kidding? Imagine not activating it. Alright, yeah, new Bonecrusher Giant, activate itself right even that way. That makes sense. Trying to remember if I added any disenchants. Yeah, the Brazen Borrowers are like okay here. What timing? Yeah, there's nothing we'd be able to have. Nothing to stop the boat in the air here. We have Beseiji. Can seeing another Beseiji in the board wouldn't be terrible, but we actually don't want to change this configuration at all. We have to kind of live with our stuff getting stomped. You can't be bringing in Shape Statue for that. We have Brazen Boar, which helps us like have some interaction with the online permanents. Presumably they have Chariot in there as well, which is not like amazing. It's just having a little bit of interaction just to give us enough time. Yeah, the Sky Sovereign is the reason the deck is good, to be fair. Alright, this is very solid. We have our Elf. The cool thing about being on the play is that you're a turn ahead of Stomp. This set doesn't really play any 1-mana interaction. Green side. Do you have another turn 3 Defiler if we don't get stomped here? Which it looks like we are going to get. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. We still have the company, and so I feel pretty good about it. Gonna pass. And they're light on land, so I might end up. That's 2 training grounds on the bottom, but nine. Be annoying and bounce this. Let's keep it up. We have another company coming off the Iron We're off here, and then into the Defiler turn. Alright. Well, this has gone pretty well. Training Grounds is a pretty awesome Magic card, and this is a really, really nice shelf for it. Would definitely recommend. If you have other Training Ground stuff that you've been messing around with, do let me know in the comments, because I'm looking for different things you can use with it. And so, yeah. Obviously, Displace is amazing, but I want to do something a bit different first. One day, Bant Eldrazi when we get the Sky Spawner and Drown Up and all that stuff. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and all that stuff if you haven't already. That'd be great. And, yeah. Peace.